It's possible to construct a portrait from imagination from scratch just with knowledge of facial proportions and anatomy. The key to creating a portrait in this way is in understanding facial proportions, which are the universal ratios between features of the face, which are shared by pretty much everyone. I'm going to show you what all the different proportional relationships of the face are, with some details about the anatomy of each facial feature, whilst constructing a portrait from scratch. Feel free to follow along and create the drawing for yourself. By the end of the video, you should have constructed your own portrait drawing. This circle is a starting point that we will work from to establish the measurements for the rest of the head. It represents the cranium of the skull. Make sure that it's a circle instead of an oval. It's important that it's as wide as it is tall. You can use a tool like a compass to help you create a perfect circle, or you can freehand it. Next, I'm going to lay down some measurements, which will help me to create the outline of the face and place the features. I've drawn a line across the top of the circle, which represents the top of the head. The line stretches from the leftmost side to the rightmost side of the circle. Divide this line into thirds and label them, then split each third in half with little marker lines. I then split the circle in half vertically. I draw a line from the 1.5 marker line downwards. At this point, you don't need to measure the length of this line, just make sure that it extends beyond the initial circle you drew. This line splits the face in two, dividing the nose, mouth, and eyes in half. By drawing this, you can place features symmetrically more easily. The next line I draw splits the circle in half horizontally. It should be halfway between the top and bottom of the circle, not the vertical line. Now I can draw what will essentially look like a grid on the vertical axis. Similar to the top of the circle, I'm splitting the circle into 3 equal parts with the bottom of the circle ending at 3. Now, drawing grids is not as exciting as drawing the portrait itself, but stay with me as it will shortly become clear what all these measurements are for. You can see the line I've created for the vertical axis of the grid extends below the circle. It extends below the circle by half of our 1 unit. So it's especially important on this vertical axis to mark the halfway points between each whole number. Then to find the bottom of the face, drop a half measurement down below the bottom of the circle. The vertical line should also line up with the bottom of this 3.5 measurement line. So the ratio of the head is 3 to 3.5. Draw the grid on the bottom that stretches across from this 3.5 marker. Now let's draw some horizontal lines which will mark the placement of the features. Draw a horizontal line from the half marker line. This marks the hairline. Then draw a line horizontally across from the 2.5 marker line. This marks where the nose will sit on the face. I'm going to label these lines so you can see where all of the features will go. So we've got the top of the head, the hairline, the brow, the nose, and the chin. The hairline is essentially the apex of the frontal bone, so it's the point at which the head curves around to the top of the face. From the top of the face, or the hairline, to the chin, this section can be split into thirds with the brow line, nose line, and chin line all sitting at equal distances. Then the chin is half a unit below the end of the cranium, and the top of the cranium is half a unit above the hairline. So that's the length and width of the face established. Of course, people's facial measurements vary, so one person's face might be 19 centimeters and another person's might be 18 centimeters, but relatively speaking, the ratios between these measurements on the same person's face will remain equal. There are 2 other features that can be placed with horizontal guidelines that will help us draw the features later on. The eyes are in the middle of the head, directly between the top of the head and the chin. The brow sits in the middle of the cranium, so we drew the line through the middle of the circle, but the eyes sit at the middle of the head, which includes the extra section of the chin, so it will sit slightly below the brow. On our grid, you can draw a line at the 1.75 mark. Then the mouth line can actually vary slightly from person to person, but generally it will be placed around 1/3 of the way between the nose and the chin, just above the 3 marker on the grid. At the moment, this still just looks like a grid with some lines and a circle inside, but this groundwork is worthwhile as it means that I can now more quickly and confidently place the features. I need to start outlining the face itself. I start with 2 vertical lines that each slant down diagonally inwards. If you look at where I've drawn these on the grid, you'll notice that it starts slightly inwards from the top, then slants diagonally downwards to just over the halfway mark on each side. You don't have to be ultra precise or rigid with the face width measurements, as face width and shape varies from person to person, but the face should be wider at the top than the bottom, as this is where the jaw tapers off. To draw the chin, I start from the mouth line at the edges of the circle, and then taper inwards to join at the bottom in the middle. Chin widths and jaw shapes vary from person to person, so this is a point where you can make some customizations to give the face unique characteristics. We now have our face outlined, so we just need to fill in the features. The first features I'm going to draw are the ears. The top of the ears line up with the brow, and the earlobes sit in line with the nose. So I'm going to draw the ears as C-like shapes, which are angled inwards slightly, stretching between the brow and the nose lines. I'm just drawing these as simple shapes at first, which I will then add details to later. The eyes mark the middle of the face lengthways. At this point, the face is 5 eye widths wide, so this eye line that we drew can be divided into 5, and the eyes will fill the 2/5 and 4/5 sections. The eye line I drew earlier will cut through the middle of the eyes, so you can see that you can fit 1 eye width between each eye. The distance between eyes can vary from person to person, but this is a general rule. When you draw the eyes, this is another point of the drawing process where you can customize the features. Eyes can be slightly bigger, smaller, have different angle tilts and lid shapes. So let's get rid of those extra eyes and draw in the irises, pupils and eyelids. The irises sit in the middle of the eye. The top of the irises will be cut off by the upper lash line. Then the eyelids follow the general shape of the lash line, curving just above the eye. Now for the brow. Different people have different shaped eyebrows, and it's rare for eyebrows to be perfectly symmetrical. To draw the brows, I'm going to mark the inner edge, point of the arch and outer corner on each side of the face, then join up the lines. The inner edge of the brow should roughly line up with the inner corner of the eye, and the outer corner of the eyebrow should stretch slightly beyond the edge of the eye. The brows I'm drawing have quite a strong arch to them, so height-wise they dip slightly below then above the brow line, creating a soft triangular shape. I'm also going to create some hair texture for the brow just by hatching small lines like so on either side, following the initial lines that I drew. The next step is to draw the nose. I've already drawn the nose line, so I know where to place the bottom of the nose, but we need to find the width. The outer edge of the ala of the nose, which is the skin that surrounds the nostril, lines up with the inner corners of the eye. So I'm going to draw some dotted guidelines down, then draw the outline of the tip of the nose with this rounded shape. The nostrils appear as curved arcs on either side of the nose. They curve down and inwards. You can also start to draw some details like a light outline for the bridge of the nose. To draw the mouth, I'm going to draw the middle of the mouth line across this mouth line that I drew earlier, but the corners of the mouth have a proportional relationship with the middle of the eyes, and from this you can find the width of the mouth on your portrait. I'm drawing 2 lines down from the centre of each pupil to the mouth line. Now I know where the mouth is going to be placed, I can focus on the shape and details more easily. The lips are made up of tubercles, which are dermal projections. There are 3 in the upper lip, 1 sits below the cupid's bow and the other 2 on either side. For this reason, I'm going to draw the opening for the mouth as this undulating line with a slight curve downwards in the middle. From this, I draw the vermilion border, which is a name for the outline of the lips, with the cupid's bow at the top and a smooth curve at the bottom. Our features have been mapped out, so the next step is just to add the details. I sketched some of the details in the ears, the helix and the tragus. Then I shade the irises and detail the eyelashes to give the portrait a little bit more of a realistic look. Finally, I add the volume of the hair on top. You can of course develop this portrait further, erase the guides and add some shading, or keep the guides to remind you of the proportions of the face. You can see how quickly a portrait can come together once we've established all the proportions. It's a great way to construct the head, but a quicker method for drawing a portrait, which uses the same proportional relationships as guides to construct a head, is the Loomis method. I have some video tutorials on the Loomis method, which I'll link to in the description, so check those out if you're interested. If you like this tutorial, please let me know by liking and subscribing. I'm giving away 2 free Drawing for Beginners ebooks when you sign up to my email list. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.